Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone. Today, Chris and I have a very special guest, our boss, Nic Delorme.
It's a really serious show.
Yeah, it's exciting to go talk to our boss. Nic, how's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah, well, we're excited. Nic is the CEO of Sellozo, also our boss. And today's going to be really fun because we're going to dig in and just learn the story of Sellozo. Chris and I, we've been a part of the team. Chris a little longer than me, but I've been on a little over a year. Chris, a little over a year and a half. So we've heard stories about how it started, but this will be really fun just to really dig in and see how Sellozo started, and then also just what it's doing now and where it's going. So, Nic, we're excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
All
it took 27 shows before I was invited to our own show.
We had to warm up.
Yeah, we had to warm up. Yeah, we wanted to build an audience before we bring on the big dogs.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So now we're ready. But well, before we get started, tell everybody a little bit about your background, what you've done before, how it led up to being a part of Sellozo.
Yeah, so, I'm definitely, my background's really in software development. So I have a computer science degree from Purdue University. I'm basically an engineer and a total nerd. I like computers. I like to program. I knew what I was going to do with my entire life when I was 12 years old. I got my first computer then, and I don't think I left the basement room for like 2 years. I didn't see sunlight. I was very pale. But it led to a pretty decent career. Really I've spent the last 13 years building advertising automation and data processing systems. So, I kind of have spent a lot of time looking at ingesting lots of data and, writing algorithms and, building software and running teams of software engineers. And that's kind of my background. I play guitar, like to run and work out a little bit. That's kind of me, Nic Delorme. In a nutshell.
All right. So I just learned something, guitar. I didn't realize that was a part of your skill sets. So we'll have to get together and play some guitar. I also like that. That's cool. So you're talking about building automation for advertising in previous roles. Obviously that's a big one for Sellozo. But what did that look like in the past? Building automation, like what platforms and
So like a lot of different platforms. So, Sellozo was founded in the middle of 2017, and the whole group, the engineers that founded this, our background was in advertising automation. And when I talk about it, it's like banner advertising, email advertising, social advertising, video advertising in YouTube and on the web. Kind of almost any kind of advertising you see on the internet, I've probably been involved in. And a lot of that was, sort of optimizing the systems to be most profitable. So, we'd be spending our own money and trying to, get traffic and run our ads to be as profitable as possible. We built, big data algorithms on various different platforms, including big data warehouses like Netezza and Greenplum and, Hadoop and different things in the cloud. And, we just built a variety of different systems. So we were able to draw on, a lot of past experience when building Sellozo. We came into this idea, we were like, where else can we take advertising? Like, where could we take all this knowledge that we've been building for years and years and years and apply to some like new market? And in 2017, there really wasn't anything that kind of really helped sellers fully automate their advertising or come in and really run algorithms. The systems that were out there were primarily, giving you recommendations, and then you'd have to go in and apply recommendations or understand them. And we were like, well, why can't you just tell people what you want your margin to be and what your budget is and just have the system launch campaigns and automate the bids for you? And so we decided that why don't we just build that? And that was really the start of Sellozo. And in fact, when Sellozo started, it actually started with a different name. It started we called it Sellify to begin with. But we had some advisors tell us, yeah, that name sucks. So why don't we use Sellozo instead? And we're like, okay. It's like a group of engineers. We're not marketing people at all. So we're like, all right, we'll go with Sellozo. We can call it hamster.
Something I want to touch on.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Something that you mentioned, like back in the early days when Sellozo started, what are some of those like hurdles that you had to overcome when the software first started launching to where it is now? Because advertising 3 years ago when Sellozo was first born, it's completely different than it is now. When you first started, how did you keep up with like all the changes? What are some of the changes that you had to make in order to make Sellozo the tool it is now?
Yeah, I think honestly, Amazon is often their own hurdle. I mean, it's, as sellers know, like it's just a pain to work with those guys. So getting access to the right information, getting help from them to get access to the APIs, just working with them to get all the data imported. They have a lot of throttling on their systems to make it difficult to get all the information you need. That was, hurdle number one was just working with Amazon and trying to get the information. We're like, we know how to apply the right algorithms to this information. We just need to be able to pull in the data. So hurdle number one, right when we started building the prototype was that. And, once we kind of got that, I think one of the things that's made us successful is, our systems that pull in the information are fairly, well-designed and generic so that as Amazon's launching new things, we're able to add in and be able to pull in more information, like different types of campaigns or different types of ads, like pretty easily into our system. So, like some of the stuff with like sponsor brand video lately coming out, we were able to pretty easily, retrofit our algorithms to work with that new data because, we didn't have to start from scratch. We didn't have to like build it new or anything. We were able to kind of just adapt what we had slightly to handle the new types. So I think that's, in the early days, we kind of set ourselves up with success, for that. We built an early prototype on some pretty basic technology, but once we saw traction, we kind of made it so that we could expand over time over the next couple of years. So that's kind of where we are today, how we can adapt so quickly. I mean, we have a pretty small engineering team, and with that team, because of the way we're set up, we're able to do a lot of things and be able to keep up with the changes that Amazon's putting out all the time.
Yeah, that's really cool. Chris, did you have a question?
No, I was gonna say like that totally speaks to how Nic is. Like anybody that works with Nic, he gets crap done. Like things get done immediately. So like
I also talk very fast,
like,
so you might have to slow your YouTube video down just to hear me talking sometimes. That's totally fine.
No, this is great. Because another thing to speak on that is, Chris and I, we became a part of Sellozo and when we applied for the job, but you guys were actively seeking people with experience selling on Amazon to be a part of your company. And I feel like that's unique a lot of times in a space like this. I mean, Chris and I have our own full businesses on Amazon right now. And that's, I think that helps just in general with Sellozo. And so is that something that you guys were from the beginning, that was a strategy to bring on people with experience?
Yeah, we decided rather than just hiring a ton of people willy-nilly, we really want to focus on hiring people that had Amazon experience, especially for the sales team and for support teams, because, while, I have a great background in advertising, I didn't, and technology, I didn't know as much about Amazon as you guys do. I mean, I think really eating your own dog food is really important when building technology. You need people to come in that are using your own technology to try and run their businesses, and it just helps you learn what your people are having to experience on a day-to-day basis. I mean, even myself, after about 6 months of working on this project, I decided, look, I need to experience this for myself. So I went and, ordered some stuff from India and started my Seller Central account and, did listings and printed labels and, shipped stuff off to Amazon. So I did my own, little Amazon, selling business for a little while just to be like, okay, what are these people, what is hard? What is easy? What can our business do to help people better? And I think that was really helpful for me. And, just hiring the right people like you guys has been really one of the reasons we're successful is the people that we have that support our software and support our customers.
Speaking of,
what plug for you guys there?
Yes. Well, we love being a part of the team. The only beef I have is I wish you would have developed Sellozo like 4 years earlier when I started my business, so that I would have had it.
As soon as we get that time machine done, I'll do
it. Because the advertising on Amazon is it's a monster. It's one of the biggest pain points for Amazon sellers, for sure. without question. So as a seller, what does Sellozo solve for me? How would you describe the pain points that Sellozo covers, and how it can make their business operate better?
I mean, Sellozo really just makes PPC advertising on Amazon easier. You're able to come into this software. If you're trying to do this on your own, you're getting into Seller Central, you're clicking advertising, and you're like, what's an ad group? What's a campaign? How much should I spend? How do I figure out which keywords I should be advertising on? How much should I spend on those keywords? It's a ton of research. It's a ton of time. It's spreadsheets and weeks of effort just to try and set up your business, and then you got to manage it on a day-to-day basis. Sellozo just makes that we automate the hard things about this. You're able to come into Sellozo. I think the first thing that Sellozo helps you with is we get you into our software and you actually talk with a live person that helps you get set up with your account. They talk to you about your campaigns. They talk to you about your products. It isn't just the technology. The technology is amazing, but you need to know, what to do with it. And I think that, our team of software, support people, they'll get on the phone with you. They'll get on a Zoom. They'll walk you through the product. Actually, Dustin and Chris are some of the people that help us with this. They're experts, not only in PPC, but Amazon selling in general. They will help you get started with our software. And it's going to allow you to launch new campaigns easier. It's going to allow you to figure out which keywords you should be bidding on easier. It's going to allow, the system, your campaigns to just be more profitable. So we're going to find the keywords that are working for you. We're going to bid appropriately on those keywords, and we're going to make you profitable and help your sales grow. So, that's what Sellozo does. That's the core of what we do, is really try to make your life easier with PPC automation and, help you understand your business better and give you help. Get real people and real Amazon experts to help you. These aren't just people off the street that we've trained. It's people that have Amazon businesses like you guys that are helping our customers. So, yeah.
Dustin and I love to do this. Like we talk to people daily, and we just get to learn about their business. We get to look at their listings, and even if their listings aren't ready, we'll give them good feedback on what they need to do before they start advertising. So it's fun for us to help sellers along this way, because we've mentioned it numerous times, Dustin, that selling on Amazon, it's kind of like a lonely deal. You're kind of like by yourself. You don't really have anybody to talk to.
Like in your office.
Yeah, like you're
with a bunch of boxes in the background.
You're in a basement for 2 years, and you come out, and you gotta keep yourself. But something I've seen recently is there's so many new tools now, like so many more advertising tools. You got a lot of people launching software, trying to do the same type of deal, but not everybody is not the same. How is Sellozo different than some of those other tools out there?
Yeah, I think other than, definitely the people that help you. We aren't just a blanket tool that you're never going to talk to somebody. You're going to get real help on your business from somebody that'll get on Zoom with you. But I think other than that, our system is just more fully automated. I think really the biggest game changer, our prototype 2 years ago was pretty simple. We were able to launch an auto campaign. It would launch a manual campaign automatically, and it would adjust bids. And it was pretty simple in how it worked. And I think the game changer for us was the Campaign Studio. And I think that's the biggest differentiator in our PPC automation and our strategy within our software versus other systems. And no other platform has this. It's a little bit hard to describe, but it's almost like a flow chart. It's a visual tool that helps you define how to do keyword discovery. And you don't have to do this from scratch. We've defined a bunch of patterns that work for people. But we have a lot of customers that bigger sellers or agencies that want to come in and say, look, I have this great idea for a manual broad campaign that feeds into itself with exact keywords, then goes into a phrase match, and then goes into an exact match. And I want this pattern. And I can set this up manually in Seller Central. It's going to take me maybe an hour on the one product I'm going to do, and then I need to do it on 1,000 products. And it's like, well, we built a tool for you to visually define this strategy. And then you can take 1,000 of your products and apply that strategy to all of them at once. Literally in 5 or 10 minutes, you can do what would take you weeks with a large business that has a lot of products. Even if you have 5 products, it's still difficult to try and figure out keyword discovery. And the Campaign Studio in Sellozo is the best tool out there for that right now. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
One differentiator with our software, other than just the people that help you with your business, tool wise, that Campaign Studio is our best feature. Secondly, I think it would be our profitability analysis. We have some really cool tools to figure out how profitable are you on a particular product. Some people just really struggle with that. You don't want to upload your cost of goods to Amazon because you don't want to share that information. You don't want to do it in spreadsheets because you're downloading CSV files every day, trying to pivot table your stuff in spreadsheets. Sellozo makes it so you can just log in and see what your profit is on 400 products. You can graph it over time. You can group 40 of your products together and see, these are my Christmas products. How did they trend profitability wise? When did they drop off? When did they really ramp up? Our tool is great for that. So Campaign Studio, profitability analysis, and our team.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Campaign Studio. Campaign Studio is fantastic. It's awesome.
I don't know how to more sell it than that. It's just like the coolest tool out there. Nobody else has it.
It is.
Yeah. And if anybody's listening and hasn't done a demo with Chris or I, or hasn't seen Sellozo, book a time right now. You can go to sellozo.com right now and book a demo. You'll get either Chris or I, and we'll show you this Campaign Studio, because we talk to sellers all the time. We talk to large and small businesses. And when we're showing the Sellozo platform, our reporting, like you mentioned, all that profit analysis, it looks great. It's super well laid out. The second we get to the Campaign Studio, everyone's like, hold on a second. Wait a minute. This is amazing. So I can design this whole workflow and it's going to automate everything. And the answer is yes. It's the biggest differentiator. You're right. We see it when we talk to people. They may have demoed other platforms, but as soon as they see that, they're sold on what we can do. And it's amazing. It allows for full automation of everything.
I mean, it took us like a year to put it together. I mean, when I went to the engineers, I said, look, I have this idea. We want this drag and drop, like boxes, like a flow chart. I want to draw lines and they were like, you want to do what, boss? Are we really going to do this? I'm like, yes, this is what we need. This is what we have to do. And, we put a ton of effort into building that software and making it work really well and smooth. And I'm really glad we did. It's definitely the coolest thing and probably the most, one of the biggest differentiators of our software. So,
yeah.
It just discover more money too. I mean, it helps you discover more keywords. It helps you control keyword discovery. So, if you're in new campaign or new product launch and you want to be more aggressive, you can use a different pattern. And then as soon as you're done with that sort of aggressive pattern, you can change your pattern to something else, once the product's more established. So it really gives you flexibility to manage, the profitability at different stages and life cycles of a product.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's the same. Essentially what you're talking about, the automation of Campaign Studio, it automates everything from keyword discovery to moving keywords between campaigns to negative keyword creation, the daily bid adjustments, all based on a target ACoS set in the pattern that you want. I mean, it automates absolutely everything. And yeah, it's a game changer. I love showing that to people and demoing the Campaign Studio.
We made it pretty customizable too. Like you can do really cool things like, well, maybe I only wanted to move keywords over if it's had 2 conversions or 3 conversions. It will automate everything by default for you. But if you're the kind of person that wants to go in and like, I have a specific strategy that I want to try to implement, you can really tweak it and set it. Like I only want the maximum bid to go this high or this low in the automation. And I want it to move this quickly or this aggressively. There's definitely like tweaks and levers for, advanced users that really want that. And the basic user can go in there and the default settings we have are great. Like they can get you going with a few clicks. You don't have to know a lot about it. With the help of our onboarding, group, they're going to get you started, even if you're pretty new to it. So I will say, I'd say the one caveat is you got to be spending more than like $3 a day on advertising. If you're going to come in and spend $3 every day, no matter what my automation will do, it's not going to help you that much until you're spending a little more. There's just not enough data. So, really, if you're not feeding the system with information, then, it's not going to help a whole lot. So I'd say as long as you're spending a little bit of money every day on advertising, this is the tool you should be using. So.
Cool. Something I want to touch on is this PPC automation is again getting legs and it's getting more popular. But there's also like a group of people that are like hesitant of automation. They're worried that they're going to first sign up for a tool, and it's just going to start automating all their ads like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us. I mean, Dustin and I know, but tell the audience here, like, that doesn't. It's not that. It doesn't work that way, right? We're importing the data, and then you pick and choose.
Yeah, we really tried to like look at it from from your perspective, from the seller's perspective. When they come in, they sign up, we pull in all your information and we show it to you. But we're not going to automatically start doing, making changes to your system or whatever. It takes you have to go in and say, I want to optimize this campaign or these 3 campaigns. I mean, you can check the box for all of them and say, optimize them all. But we're really not going to be automatically doing stuff for you immediately. Our systems also, we've tuned this thing for years to be able to ramp up or ramp down bids. If you say, I want a lower A cost, it's not just going to take your bid and slash it by 90%. It's going to stair step you down slowly in a pattern that we've mastered over the last couple of years. I mean, we've been tweaking this algorithm to make it work for those type of scenarios for a long time, so that people aren't afraid of what's happening in their system, that it's, we're moving in the right direction towards the target A costs. It's not doing things I don't understand. We have full transparency in the activity log, so people can go in every day and see these are the exact changes that are being made to my campaigns every single day. So yeah, definitely until they go in and turn on the optimizer, it's not going to be doing anything. I think another principle that we decided early on is that we aren't going to spend, if you set a budget of $100, we're never going to increase that budget for you. So, if you say, I want to spend $100 on this campaign, even if we're splitting that campaign off into new manual campaigns as we're spawning them for you, we split that budget out. So we're never going to spend more than that full $100 that you define. We're not just you're not going to come in one day and automatically be like, oh shoot, now I'm spending $4,000 and I didn't realize it because my budget got increased. We will never automatically increase your budget for you. That was just something we decided that was something that needed to be in control of the human. Because it's real money here at stake. Sometimes some of these people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars a month on advertising. These are not small numbers in some cases. Even if you're a guy spending $100 a month or a few $100, it's meaningful to you. And we want to make sure that you're in control of that. We will help you make it as efficient as possible. We'll help you, define, we can help you target a certain A cost and set the bids appropriately. But how much money you're spending really should be in your control. So.
Cool.
And really, we also, I think another thing that is, in sort of along the same vein is our pricing structure. We didn't think it was right to charge people based on a percentage of how much money they're making or how much ads they're spending. Because it really just, especially how much ad cost there is, because it just incentivizes us to spend more. We thought, why don't we just charge people a flat fee every month and do the best we absolutely can for them? Let's make them as profitable as possible, make as much money for them as possible, and not penalize them for growing or for spending more money. I think the only reason we charge people more is when they have more products, because it takes more to optimize those number of products. So, we really wanted to build software to help people. We're not out there to just make every single penny that we can from every single person. We straight up wanted to come in here and make PPC easier for sellers and better. So that was the idea behind Sellozo. So
that's something that we hear a lot as a big differentiator as well. I'll talk to people that are coming from other platforms, and their businesses have been growing, but now they're paying thousands and thousands of dollars for a service, and then they'll come look at ours and better service and a lower price and a flat price. It'll never change. So that is a big differentiator. I'm glad you brought that up. So what's next for Sellozo? Where's Sellozo going? What projects are coming out next for Sellozo? What's the future look like?
Well, I mean, so bread and butter, always PPC automation. We're always trying to make that better. I think specifically right now, we're working on more efficiently testing new keywords when there's thousands of them with a really limited budget. So if you have $100 a day that you're spending or $50 a day, but you've got 4,000 keywords that you're testing, trying to make that modify our algorithm to be as efficient as possible with that. It's already pretty good with that, but we're always making improvements. Obviously, keeping up with all of the new campaign types that are coming out. Over the last year, Amazon's launched tons of different campaigns, making sure that when you come into Sellozo, any type of campaign that you're running will work and we'll be able to optimize and make you as profitable as possible. Those are really some of the core things of Sellozo that we're working on. But I'd say another thing that we're really working on is And this is kind of the first sort of public announcement of this, but we are definitely working on some new ways to do customizable reporting. So we're actually in a closed beta right now with a new product called Data Spot Pro, which is going to be released, I hope, in the next couple months here, more broadly. But the idea behind this is really to help people report on multiple different platforms. So your Google spend on advertising and sales, your Facebook advertising, your Google advertising, your Amazon advertising, and your Shopify. So trying to get all of that into one report so that you can see, how is my business growing? How are my sales going on Shopify and Amazon compared? What's selling better in which places? What's my total advertising spend across all of these platforms? That kind of stuff. So we're building a platform where people will be able to use business intelligence tools like Tableau, Power BI, Google Data Studio, which is free to use, on top of this combined data source. So I've spent over a decade being able to pull in this type of complex data and organize the data in a way that can be used for automation and for reporting purposes. And so we're kind of taking that to the next level and making it so that on demand, when you sign up for this Data Spot Pro, we're going to launch a customized database just for you that's private for your business. We're going to import all of your data that you connect, say your Amazon data, your Google data, your Facebook, your Shopify. We're going to be working on eBay. We're going to be working on Walmart, pulling all of that data into your own customized database and giving you full access to it so that you can build reports on your own. We're also going to be providing pre-made templates so that you can kind of use it out of the box. But at first, we're really launching it so that people that want to come in and use Google Data Studio, for example, to make a customizable report that pulls in the type of information that they want to see and have it emailed to them every single day, they're going to be able to use our platform and our data organization to do that. And we're doing it like really economically. We wanted to make this so that when people start, it's only $49 a month. So that will be launching soon, I hope. So, we're still, we're really focused on PPC automation, making that awesome, but, still helping people with the reporting, understand the profitability of their business and starting to pull in multiple data sources. People are wanting to diversify. I mean, they love Amazon. They love the traffic that we get from Amazon, but sometimes they want to diversify into other platforms, Shopify, eBay, Etsy. Let's make it possible for them to manage their business easier by pulling all this information together. So that's kind of an exciting platform that we're working on that'll be launched soon. You guys can, if anybody wants to look at it, we've got a basic website up at dataspotpro.com that has some information about what we're trying to do. It's pretty early yet, but if you're interested in the closed beta, I think there's an email link at the bottom. You can email us. But yeah, that's pretty exciting as well. So
yeah, some of our big sellers are going to really like that, especially that do different platforms. They're going to be able to see all their data in one spot. Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for that as well. Just because that's where, when you're in this business, you start on Amazon, but then you expand. Yeah. And there's so much to it. So I'm very excited for that. Well, this has been fun, Nic. It's fun to
thanks, guys. Out on our 27th one.
27th one.
Nic made it on.
Yeah. Well, we had you on, so now I feel like we're in the running for Employees of the Month, right?
We'll see.
Oh no, Nic, that was fun. It's fun to get the just sort of the behind the scenes look at what's going on with us. Let everyone know about our team. Our team's passionate. It's fun. You're a great leader. You've developed an unbelievable platform. It's fun to show people, and it's good to hear stories. I mean, it's fun.
This has been the most fun product that I've worked on. Like, purely, honestly, like I love the team that we work on. I love what we built for people. I love hearing it help people's business. People come on and they're like, "You tripled my sales." I'm like, "That's great. We really helped the small business." In previous jobs, I've worked with large agencies or really large businesses, and you really don't get that personal interaction sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's been really fun to build this, with this team and with the type of customers that we have. So I'm very happy. So.
Well, we're enjoying working here. It's fun. And everybody out there, you don't really totally understand it until you see it. So I really encourage you, if you're selling on Amazon, if you're looking to sell on Amazon or anything, if you're curious to see how we can help optimize your advertising, go to Sellozo.com, book a demo. You'll get either Chris or I. We'll spend 30 minutes with you. We'll walk you through We'll just talk strategy. We'll demo the platform. And then Chris and I will onboard you once you sign up. So you'll be seeing a lot of us, and we'll make sure that you're well taken care of when you see it. Plus, if you want to talk anything strategy-wise, we'd love to have you. Also, if you're listening, make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you can get great content. We've got a lot of guests lined up. We're talking to people in all different aspects of the Amazon industry. So we want to make sure we get all the information out to you. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. Follow us on Facebook. We'll go live. Like this is live on Facebook right now. So follow us and you'll get prompted on there, and YouTube as well. Nic, that was fun.
That was good.
Yeah.
Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate that coming on. I mean, you can obviously hear the passion in your voice. So that was great.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love this stuff. So,
all right. Well, thanks everybody. Chris and I, we'll be back at it tomorrow. See you, everybody.
Later.
Later.